Okay, okay, everybody. I'm back on my nano. I don't know the last time I put a post on my through my nano on my page, so I'm gonna bring my nano back. As you guys know, maybe this is after, but I did record a video of where I picked up two books, so this might be put before I show that video, or I may never post a video of the day I bought a book. But I bought a book and I actually read like how many pages last night? About 27, it says. I think it says 27. I'm wearing glasses, so I can't really read. But I have a book, and it's called How to Talk to Anyone 92 Little Tricks to Have Big Success in Relationships. I've really been into the psychology of talking for the past year. And this is not about relationships. I mean, relationships means a lot of things, so it's not like romantic relationships or anything that I got it for. But I've been in the realm of psychology of talking, and I want to get better at small talk and things like that. So I thought this book was going to be something really good to read. And yeah, I've got through 27 pages so far. I've picked up a few things. It talks about how to have eye contact, what kind of posture you need to be having, and some of the examples that she gave were really good about her friends and things like that. And if you want to know the name, I think her name is Leo Lounders. So if you want to look at this book, the first 27 pages, I think it's pretty good. And it's helping me with how I'm going to be talking to people. And I'm going to keep reading it again tonight, hopefully. So I'll come back to you guys with another installment of that. But back to the. Let me turn to the side so y'all can see with the camera. With the camera being so low quality, I don't want to have it be dark. So as you can see, I'm now about to change into. All right, what am I saying? So now I'm going to go into my topic that I'm going to talk about today. I keep adding to my list every day, basically, so the list is never ending. And I keep choosing from the bottom, so I really need to choose from the top. But the things from the top are low key. I shouldn't be using that word because that's a Gen Z word, and I should be using high level words. And I was hearing some high level words in that book already in the first couple of pages. So I'm going to try not to say things like low key anymore. But just looking at my list, the top of the list, what I was trying to say, the top of my list is filled with a bunch of stuff when I was, at the start of my channel, I was talking about the same topic. Basically, every video ended up at the same topic. And yeah, I'll actually just show y'all. I might still talk about these sometime if I ever, get sad, but highs and lows of everyday life and life in general. This was me being very high and then talking about how low I became because things didn't work out and I always thought it was my fault, yada yada yada. And then the real kicker, never feels like I'm enough for a significant other. I'll do like little explanations of both of these to get them out of the way because I don't want to do big ones. But the highs and lows of everyday life was yeah, it was basically me saying that there's a lot of highs and lows of everyday life, and the lows were getting to me at this point, but I know the highs were also good. But I think in another video, which might actually be an expansion of this topic, but being in the middle is perfectly okay. So the highs and lows of everyday life are going to come, and you just have to be ready for them. But just know that being in the middle is honestly the best thing possible because high is good, but highs come with lows. And when you're at a really high, even a small low can really kick you down from the high way lower than it should have, rather than if you were at a medium. And same thing with the low is the complete opposite. So if you're really sad and I don't know something happens and with something really good, you'll be way more excited over it than you should be because maybe it's just like a normal thing. So maybe I don't know how to give an example, but when you're really sad and then something like that should be mildly good that happens when you're in the middle. When you're really sad, it's gonna really pull you up high, and then you're probably gonna get broken back down quickly because that high really wasn't as high as you really thought it was, and it's gonna bring you down. And vice versa with highs going down to a low, which isn't as low as you think. And then for the next one, it's never feels like I'm enough for a significant other. Y'all are seeing some of my lists. All these are redded out, so I'm able to show y'all. And I'm gonna do the Norway trip talk someday. Maybe that's today, but it never feels like I'm enough for a significant other. You guys, if you've watched my videos, which I doubt anybody's watched my videos, but if you go back to my first few videos, I was basically referring every topic back to my feelings about this girl that I didn't get the win over, or yeah, I didn't not win over her. It just didn't work out. But yeah, I keep failing when I try to, get into relationships, and this was the one where I was very into the person, and I was just really sad that it didn't work out. And basically, I just said, yeah, it never feels like I'm enough for a significant other, because basically every girl that I've seriously liked, basically I actually get with, well, not get with them sounds like something sexual or something, but I get with them, basically, yeah, just be with them, get on the phone, talk to them every day, and then I just lose them. And I get a lot of self-doubt, and that's what happened, and that's what this mark came from. But I'm kind of, I'm over that now, but I do still have the feeling of that I'm not enough, because every time I've tried, no matter how much I like the person, it just doesn't work out. And if you really personally knew me, and nobody would know this, but every person that I've actually seriously talked to has actually moved away from me within about a year of me talking to them. And it seems like this girl that I was talking to, once again, is going to be moving away from me. And I also will be the first time moving away, because it's after college. So she's moving away down, and I'm moving away up in our state. So yeah, it didn't work out. But every girl that I've seriously liked has actually moved away from me. So isn't that a coincidence? But yeah, it never feels like I was enough for people, but that's a topic for another time. Actually, I'm gonna cross those out. I don't think I'm ever gonna be in the little sad state again, because you know you have to move on in life. And like I say, if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. And if she ever comes back into my life, then I'll do better. I'll try better. I'll do this and that better, because I can't stop my life for her. And I said I was basically doing, because I was sad about her every day, and didn't know what to do with myself. And that's why all of my notes are basically about her at the start. So I've basically moved on from that. So I think that is good to say that I've kind of finally moved on from her, even though there's still some moments, but it's not like it was before, where I was just I was going through it mentally. But I'm alright now, and I came to peace with myself and said I'm not gonna let that happen to me again, because that just can't happen. It's in my brain, basically. But the topic I'm gonna choose today is going to be about, which one should I choose? This one, actually, I'll choose one. I just saw this one on a video today. Since I'm adding the list, I like doing the most recent ones. I should be doing some ones up here that I put in the middle that should be getting crossed out, but they're a little bit high level topics. So it's like elicitation techniques to get people to talk to you more, or get people to say more in a conversation than they think they're saying, or get them to say things in conversations without you even asking them. So you just kind of subtly bring up something, and then you get an answer out of something. I saw that on a video, and I thought it was pretty good. And there's something about uncomfortableness and something about style, and I'll get to those things. But today I've chosen to talk about looking at my thing right now, since I was talking about what was feeling like before. This one's kind of close to that, but it's called Shoot Your Shot. So I just saw this one on, I forgot where I saw it on. I think it was on, yeah, a lot of my ideas, not a lot of them, actually a lot of them do come from TikTok. When I hear something inspirational, I write it in my notes. So my next two on this list are Shoot My Shot, and then the next one's something from Denzel Washington, where he's talking at a speech at a college. I don't know which college it was, but that's one of the ones I'm going to talk about. But this one's about shoot your shot, and shoot your shot doesn't just mean talk when you shoot your shot to a significant other or somebody that you like, but shoot your shot means a lot of things. And I said shoot your shot and closed mouths don't get fed. So I saw this video, and this kid talked about how a kid in his class, they had finished a project early in class, and you're allowed to leave and stuff. And this kid in his group was still there, and he said that he saw the kid in his group bring the teacher over and ask him about joining some startup group for some I forgot what field they're in. It was accounting or not something. It was not accounting, but it was telling the teacher to talk about a startup basically with the kid, and these kids are in college, of course, or not of course, but these kids are in college, and he said the teacher said no and walked away, but he sat there and thought and asked the kid, why did you ask the teacher that? And the kid said, it's worth a try. And then this kid kind of basically came home after that and made the video about shoot your shot and saying that when you give it a try, it's like what could be the worst thing that could happen? The worst they can say is no in most occasions. But he really got inspiration from that, and I got inspiration from that as well, because you really do just probably have to shoot your shot in life. And it's actually, this kind of goes, I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to probably tie that next one back in later, but this goes with another topic that I was talking about. But yeah, when you shoot your shot, the worst they can say is no. And if they do say no, you basically just move on, because life just goes on. And the thing is, you have to be confident. And that's where most people fall at the door. They get to the door, but they fall at the door right there with being confident, because nobody has the confidence, or people do have the confidence, but not everyone has the confidence to shoot their shot. So if you want to get a raise at your company, and you have to talk to your manager, and you have to talk to your manager and tell them how you're elevating the team, how you're doing this, how you're doing that, how this raise will benefit you and benefit the team more, and maybe the raise will add more roles to yourself. And that's just shooting your shot. And if you don't shoot your shot, maybe you have to wait till your yearly review, and then you get a smaller raise than what you really thought you should have had, because you didn't advocate for yourself and you didn't shoot your shot when you should have been doing that. So shooting your shot is really one of the best things that you can do for yourself, and I'm a big believer in that. And shooting your shot, it can mean many different varying levels of things. So a work thing, that's a big shot taken. Going to your teacher, asking him about a startup, like the TikTok video said, that's a pretty big shot. That's a shot in the dark, really, right there. But that's still a shot. It's a mild shot, but you can take small shots too. Is what I'm trying to get to. And some of the small shots that I can think about are opening a conversation with somebody that you've never seen before in a room where I always talk about conventions for some reason, but when you're at conventions and people are just walking around, they stay mingled, you're shooting your shot when you have to go talk to somebody at another business and say hi to them. Because if you see them and they're not talking to anybody and you walk up to them, that's basically you shooting your shot. And that could open doors for you to take bigger shots with them. If you start making a good conversation out with them, you can really start taking big shots with them, and hear, or actually, yeah, hear what they're doing at their company, and maybe how you and your company can get involved with that company if you really start taking 40-foot shots from half court, if you really start feeling comfortable. But yeah, shooting your shot is just walking up to somebody, and it doesn't have to just be in a convention. It could be in an elevator or something, and just that's shooting your shot. As crazy as it sounds, yeah, you're shooting your shot still right there. And I think that when you shoot your shot, you'll get more confident. So if you start with the small things. I'm talking really fast. Let me slow down. When you start with the small things, you can really build yourself up to some of the big shots and be more comfortable with them. And that goes on for many things in life. So the small things can build up to bigger things, and it makes the bigger things easier, or the bundle of small things just builds up to something big, so it's already just there for you. So taking your shot is always the best thing. And I guess in relationships too, you can take your shot. So if you want to talk to this girl, I mean, it's really the same thing as the convention example going up, but if you want to talk to this girl, you have to text her, you have to send her the Instagram message, you have to give it a try. And it's harder to do if you're high school or something, because I know there's nerves. I remember being in high school, and there's nerves, like if I send a shot at this girl and she misses, then she's going to tell her friends, and I'm going to be talking to school, and you feel like your life's over. And the embarrassment is there in high school, so I'm not going to brush it over, but the world isn't over if you do that in high school, and it will probably blow over within the next month, to be honest, and it won't really matter anymore. And that isn't that big of a worry, but that's a topic for another conversation for high schoolers. And I'm not trying to motivate high schoolers right now, but if you're anything past high school, so college or just the real world, if you shoot your shot with a girl, she could gossip with her friends, but if she's not in your town or something like that, then whatever. I mean, right? So she's gonna tell her friends, and maybe they'll know about you, but they can't tell the whole world that you shot your shot. And what is the whole world gonna think if they all didn't know about it? You shot your shot and you missed, and people are missing every day. There's people who are on YouTube for the longest time, and now there's people on TikTok that they'll just go up to girls and say just words to them and try to get their numbers, and it works and it fails. And I see a compilation of a guy failing, and it's not it's not motivating me to go do it, but it shows that people are doing it and people are failing, and they just keep doing it because they're not losing anything from it, and they're actually gaining views from it actually, so they feel more confident taking the no than doing it just for the yeses is what I see from them. So it could be motivating to some people, but not for me. But yeah, just shoot your shot. So yeah, with a relationship, with work, with small things in life, shooting your shot is the best way to. I was just reading. I just read one of my note lines. Sorry, I messed up. But shooting your shots is one of the best ways to get yourself to where you want to be, and get the things that you want. And when you don't shoot your shot and you try to get things hand fed to you, you won't get everything that you want because life won't be handed to you most likely unless you are somebody who was born into wealth and life is handed to you because you're given a company from your family or somebody. But yeah, closed mouths don't get fed. And that is what I have to say about shooting your shot. So next time that you think about not doing something, think about the negatives of not giving it a try, and think of all the positives of giving it a try. And most likely the positives will outweigh the negatives, and you'll have to be left with the option of what do I want my life to be. And for me, I'm trying to upgrade my life. I want my life to be a little bit better than what it is day by day until it's really better, much better in the next 10 years. So, things that I'm doing are like reading a book, are ways that I'm trying to make myself better. And then in doing these videos is also a way I'm trying to make myself better. So do what you have to do in life and make the decisions that you think will bring you to who you want to be in your dreams and in your fantasies. And that's all I have for you guys today. This video still stayed between that 10 to 20 minute mark, so I'm happy I did like a 10-minute yap session at the start. I already forgot what I talked about, but I got to the point that I needed to talk about, and I just realized I was talking too fast probably for that whole video, but if I was talking slow, I wouldn't have got in the 10 to 20 minute mark. But next video, I'll try to slow down my speed of my speaking and get better with what I'm talking about and come across better. Is what I'm trying to do every video, but I'm trying to get the past 20 minutes. So it's 18:14. So yeah, next video I'm going to try to talk slower and with the voice that I want to really use. So one time I did a video, I was like, one, two. That's me trying to I saw a video that's where you try to get your natural tone of your voice out. And when I do one, you feel like your voice is supposed to be in that it's in your nose and you're right here in your face basically. And when you do one, two, and keep doing that, you feel where you're supposed to be at. And so I talk like that. I didn't explain that well at all, but that's what I was doing. It looked crazy in that video. I looked back at the video, but that's what I did. That video is another video. I was just bouncing around everywhere with what I was doing, and it started off bad. But yeah, just shoot your shot. Closed mouths don't get fed. And as always, this is Justin, and it's Nano. Bye-bye.